What am I saying? I'm saying that we got to stop listening to everyone and begin to get into the presence of God.
That's right.
If God said it, then wait for God to tell you when it's time.
Yeah.
That's right.
But yet we want to hear things on our journey. We want to take headphones on our journey. We want to listen to all these secular preachers. We want to do all this stuff on our journey. And whenever God spoke, He said, take nothing with you.
Yeah.
Just go along. I don't want you to take nothing with you. I don't want you to take no headphones. I don't want you to take anything that will distract you. Because there's going to be some things that take place on this mission that needs your full attention. So if I tell you to speak to a homeless person, now, why is it that people always prophesy only in the church? They don't prophesy to the people walking down the street.
Yeah.
If we're prophets.
Yeah.
If we walk in that gift, why don't we or they prophesy to people in the store?
That's right.
Yeah.
Why don't they say, you know what? God said, don't buy that. Go home and pray. Because the moment you use that, you're going to curse yourself. You know, they could be in the line getting some condoms. They could be in the line getting some papers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay, you got it. They could be in the line getting some cigarettes or in line getting some tobacco. They could be in line trying to do so many different things. And if the prophet really said, look, the moment you put that to your lips, when you get to and God will tell you the exact place, you're going to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
First, you're going to die in the spirit, and this is how it's going to feel to let you know that I'm telling the truth.
Yeah.
And then the moment you move, this person's going to say this, and you're going to die like that.
Yeah.
But no, they save it for the church. And they minister, and they witness, and they prophesy to the same people over and over and over and over and over and over. At some point, it got to be a familiar spirit to the point that you know what the person's going through.
Yeah.
Come on now.
You see, people got hearing from God mixed up with hearing from the devil. So now we have all these familiar spirits ministering in the church. There's a secular preacher that they had on that's so secular to the point, and he uses certain things and gadgets in his sermons, and he's so up there to the point that they even got a picture of him at a Jay-Z concert. How is that possible? That you're reading and you're telling these people how to live their life, but yet you're so caught up into the secular that you're deceiving a mass of people. They say, well, he's preaching the word, don't judge. No. The devil can preach the word too.
Yes, he can.
How do you think, if the devil can preach the word, how do you think that these many people got in these mass suicides?
That's right.
Jim Jones. What is that, the other one with the other guy with the glasses and the curls that had the massive thing? Waco. If the devil couldn't preach or read scripture or deceive people to a massive, then why do we have those mass suicides?
The truth.
So then, as we begin to look at this, Eli, it says, verse 2, 3 and 2, 1 Samuel 3 and 2. And then it said, one night, Eli, whose eyes were becoming so weak that he could barely see, was lying down in his usual place, the usual place. The lamp of God had not yet gone out, and Samuel was lying down in the temple of the Lord where the ark of God was. Then the Lord called Samuel. So Eli was asleep, but yet Eli was losing his sight as well. And God called Samuel. You see, a lot of us can't hear God because we don't know what God sounds like.
That's right.
But yet we go to church, we got the week, and we never really study what's been preached or spoken about over the pulpit. Is that a secular preacher or is that a Christian preacher?
Okay.
There's a difference. Is he a gospel preacher or a worldly preacher? See, a worldly preacher would dress, you'll see him up in the pulpit with the saggy pants. He'll probably have on this and have on that. And he has nothing or anything that says that God. He'll start using certain things you hear in the secular arena for his sermons. They had a couple of preachers that used the topic, tell your people or something about an F you. Now when you hear that word, by us knowing what that means, but yet he wants to say it means forget you. But once in my mind, I know what that means, my mind is completely turned over to someplace else, and everything else you preach is perverted to me. I mean, even perverted thoughts. I mean, just with that word, the first letter of that word, it opened up so many different perverted thoughts now. Because now I'm thinking about that word. And no matter what he say, if he tell your ex-girlfriend, tell her this, now all of a sudden I'm thinking about the past issues. I'm not thinking about forgetting her, I'm thinking about the past issues. Because we're all still connected to our past. The thing is, we got to learn how to get cut off from our past.
Yeah. That's good.
So Samuel came, and the Lord called Samuel, and Samuel answered. He went back to Eli. See, because why did Samuel keep coming to Eli? Because God sounds like your father. See, Eli wasn't his biological father, he was his spiritual father. So God sounded like his spiritual father. See, because you got to think about it, he had to sound like his spiritual father for him to keep going. So he came and he answered, "Here I am." And he ran to Eli. And he said, "Here I am. You called me?" But Eli said, "I didn't call you. Go back and lie down." So he went and laid down again. And the Lord called Samuel, and Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, "Here I am. You call me?" Again, he hears his father's voice. "My son," now listen to this, pay close attention, this is key. "My son." Now he's telling him how to hear from God. And when you hear from God, what to say. Now he's telling him how to hear from God. And when God speaks, what to say. When God speaks, what to say. Now Samuel did not yet know, listen to this. Now my son, Eli said, "I did not call you. I did not call. Go back and lie down." 7 says, now Samuel did not yet know the Lord. You see, he didn't know the Lord, but he was in training to know the Lord. See, because God is getting us ready for the spiritual war. He didn't know God's voice yet. He didn't know who God was yet. He knew it was a God, but he did not know who God was yet. There's times in our lives when we go through hell and high water, but we know God's there somewhere, but we don't know where he's at in the midst of our storms. So we don't know what to say in the midst of our storms. So either we give up committing spiritual abortion or spiritual suicide, or we just keep going. What Samuel kept doing. Samuel didn't give up, he just kept going. You would think at some point Samuel was like, "You know what? That's it. I'm not coming. If you want me, you just come over." You would think that Samuel would have got to that point, but Samuel kept saying, he kept running back. "Yeah, what? I didn't call you. Go lay down." "Yeah, what? I didn't call you. Go lay down." Can you imagine that? You hear somebody calling you, you know that you call them. It's like those issues you're going through. Yeah. People say that, "Oh, it's not a big thing, it's not this," but I know what I'm talking about. I know that the bill needs to be paid, and if it don't get paid by this time, this is going to happen. I know that if this doesn't take place, then this is going to happen. I know, because in our physical sense, we're fighting this war in our physical to the point that we're blind to the things that are in the natural. So, blind to the things that are in the spiritual. So then when we realize that we're having a spiritual or a mental breakdown, we don't know how to keep going to God say what he's going to say. Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord. The word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. You see, the reason when you're going through all hell and high water, you're going through everything you're going through, is because you wasn't taught how to get into the presence of God. You wasn't taught how to bind the enemy. You were only taught to read the scripture. So you recite what you hear. "The devil is under my feet. I bind you, Satan. Get behind me." And all these different things. And if the devil's behind you, you already defeated. If he's under your feet, you already crippled, because at some point he will trip, he will grab your foot, twist it, and Throw it down, because some point, if he's under your feet, you're going to forget he's there at one point.